Hi guys, welcome back to my studio. If you're new here, my name is Chelsea. I'm a professional oil painter, and this week I'm excited to be taking you to a friend's studio to paint from a model. Before we dive into the time lapse today, I wanted to actually take you through my full travel gear setup so you can see what I need to paint away from home. And then from there, we'll jump into the time lapse so you can see the full painting start to finish and hear about everything I learned. Let's get to it. Okay, so I just unpacked everything from my trip to go paint up with Scott and his group of artists, and I wanted to just kind of talk about my packing list for this. So starting off, I of course had to pack my Edge Pro gear. These are the side panels that come with it. I just want to show you what those look like when they're detached, and that hooks up to my tripod, and I have a little quick release tripod mount here. To film the time lapse via the tripod, I went ahead and used the same magic arm that I always have, and I took out this adapter that lets it clamp onto a table, and this way it can clamp onto a tripod leg. So that actually worked really well. It was the first time I tried it. I didn't have the best angle on my canvas just because the arm was like a little bit short to reach like up and around the palette, but I thought it did really well. Always pack some paper towels and hand wipes because I will get paint on my hands. This was not like the smartest thing to pack in this form factor. But I did bring all of these brushes with me. I didn't really wind up using like the brush holder aspect of this. I didn't want to load these up into a regular, like a bamboo brush roll. So I just took them as is. So I brought all these brushes. I probably only used half of them, like the smaller guys, because I was only working on an 8x10 canvas. I did transfer some mineral spirits over from like my normal thing of mineral spirits, which would leak like in the car or in my backpack or whatever. So I did use my like travel canister. I usually have turpentine in here because this is my plein air setup, so usually I'm working outside, but because I was traveling to work in another studio, I actually just transferred the terp to a separate jar and then filled this up with mineral spirits. And then I didn't wind up needing this, but I did go ahead and bring my full paint kit. You know, if I am driving somewhere, I think it's nice just to have this at least in the car so that if I do realize that I'm going through one color of paint really quickly and I need to refill, that I can just go ahead and grab whatever I need out of here. So I think that about does it. I'm going to go ahead and set my studio back up, but I just wanted to give you guys a look into how I transport my whole studio rig so that I can paint somewhere else.
Okay, so this time lapse goes by pretty quick, so I'm not going to talk too much about how I started because it's the same way I start every other piece. If you do want to learn more about how I start, be sure to check out my previous portrait video linked in the upper right hand corner. This painting was done in my friend Scott Burdick's weekly session where he has a model and invites local painters to join. If you want to check out Scott's work, I've included a link down below, and I highly recommend checking it out because his work is just stunning. He is an amazing artist and a fantastic teacher. So early on in this painting, I'm focusing mainly on drawing errors, which was easy to address because I actually practiced what I preach and worked standing up and frequently backed up so I could squint down at the canvas next to my subject. It helped so much. No Photoshop comparison necessary. So early on, I'm focusing on elongating the chin and widening the eyes so that they're proportional. Backing up also let me be much more economical with my brushstrokes and not overthink questions of texture. This meant that instead of staying glued right up against the canvas and focusing on blending, I would put down a stroke, see if it read correctly at a distance, and could move on, which resulted in a much more interesting series of brushwork that I've been chasing for a long time. Now I want to dive into the main issue that I have with this painting that Scott actually he really illuminated for me. And that was that I had a large shape that just wasn't reading cohesively, which was the model's beard. It tripped me up because, like all facial hair, the shape was not just a solid mass. You could see areas of skin, and so when I tried to paint my shapes, they just looked indecisive, and the color looked really chalky because the beard color was mixing with the skin tone that I had put down, which had a lot of white in it. You can definitely see this like gray chalky color in the early stages of this painting. So my first big correction was to more authoritatively mark the edges of the facial hair with a color that was a bit bolder. I believe this was a mixture of transparent oxide brown, viridian, and transparent yellow green, and the color really glowed. I was shocked at how beautiful the paint layer was when I mixed these colors. I don't think there was any white in it, but the value was spot on, and removing that white really helped bring the painting to life. Finally, our time was up and I had to pack up to head home. I probably could have had another 3 hours with this model, but I was really happy with how this piece turned out and thrilled with all of the little breakthroughs I had on this piece. If you liked this video or learned something cool, be sure to like this video and subscribe to see more. If you have more questions about this piece or have something you'd like to see next, be sure to leave me a comment down below. I always love reading them. And until next time, thank you so much for watching and happy painting.
Have we figured out the perfect angle yet? How immensely flattering or not is this shot?